96.7 BBL, the home of the whole hog. You're online.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe to be on. I don't know what the hell. What was that?
Just random radio entrance for a station that doesn't exist. I like to do that sometimes.
This could go down a whole different road. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line. I'm really thrown off by that. Was really funny. Anyways, let's try this again. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the line as he does every week on the show. He is from Cinemablend.com. He's a real live human being that reviews movies. It's Mike Reyes. Hey, Mike.
Hey, how we doing? NFP will happen sooner or later, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. Watch. That's your first little preview of this. So we've got some movies and some news stories and all kinds of fun and games to talk about this week. We're going to dive right into it. Obviously, the big movie out this week is Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Not Beetlejuice 2, Beetlejuice. Did I just summon him?
Very important. Yeah, you summoned him. Yeah, you got see, that is one thing that I've always wanted to get cleared up. Obviously, we're never going to get it cleared up because this is not a world that is driven too much by rules. Like, there's obviously rules to follow and rules to keep around to make things interesting, but this is not a universe that you expect to be like story or regulation driven.
It seems like the continuity on Beetlejuice could be malleable, we could say.
Yeah, if you really went over this with a fine-tooth comb, yeah, it would be something that's so like tenuous that it's not even funny.
All right, well, let's dive into it. That is the big movie out this week. Mike, you've seen it. What'd you think?
I really like it, and I will go ahead and codify this with the fact that I codify, whatever. I grew up loving Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I remember my grandparents taped this off a pay-per-view, and the shrimp hand scene was all it took to freak me the hell out as a kid. And I still love that fact. And something that I realized, because I went back and watched the original, because a couple weeks ago, not only did I get to see the film, I also got to do the interviews in New York, which you can see on Cinemablend.com. But I prepared for the movie, revisiting, the original, and it still holds up. But the thing that really holds up about the universe, and the reason why I like Beetlejuice as much as I like Beetlejuice, is because Tim Burton basically went out and was like, I want to make another Beetlejuice, and I want to know where Lydia has been after all this time. And with those key things, like, everyone else was game to, whoever came back was game to come back, and then you've got newcomers that are game to jump in. But it just reminded me about how this is it's not a story-driven franchise, because it is very much, it's more shenanigans driven, and that is not a disappointment in any way, because Tim Burton has always seen the afterlife as like a carnival / sideshow, and none of that has dulled or changed. We now see Lydia Dietz, played by the ever wonderful Winona Ryder, and her daughter Astrid, played by the very wonderful not an up and comer anymore, Jenna Ortega. Like, she's pretty established. We see them dealing with a death in the family, because Lydia's father is dead, and now it is up to the family she has to basically return home to grieve, and does so with her mother, or stepmother, played by Catherine O'Hara, which I did not know that was Lydia's stepmother. Like, I missed that detail in the original film, because there is a blink and you miss it line. Yeah, apparently there's a blink and you miss it line where it tells you that, yeah, Delia and Lydia are related by, marriage.
Yeah.
And there is a mention of Lydia's mom and the biological mom in this movie, but we do not see her. Not a spoiler, but still a bit of a mystery. And again, that was just something that fed into the fact that they weren't trying to make a universe. Like, I was lucky enough to, as part of my experience, sit down with Tim Burton in a round table with other journalists. And he was like, I didn't just want to make a sequel and like tick all the boxes. Like, when I was first starting out with this stuff, sequel, franchise, these were words that those words didn't exist.
Yeah.
But over the years, he kept thinking, he kept wanting to do it. And surely Winona Ryder wanted to do it. Michael Keaton definitely wanted to do it. But nobody had there was no real clear idea
as
to how to do it. And then all of a sudden it unlocked when they thought about Lydia growing up and just going back to her. A bit of a ramble, I know.
No, it's fine. Like, I saw one story they were talking about that Beetlejuice was going to be as uncouth, and because they didn't want him to be politically correct or anything. Like, that's the term. He was not going to be termed politically correct. There is no redemption arc for Beetlejuice. He is what he is.
Oh, yeah. And that's part of what's so beautiful about this movie is there is no way. I mean, it's not like they're going out there and trying to offend everyone. It's not, Tim Burton's not one of those people who's going to call it the snowflakes when they with how they react. But that was part of what also drew him to make the movie, is because he had a 16-year-old daughter who hadn't seen the first film. And he's like, okay, how would Gen Z kind of react to Beetlejuice just as himself? And that's refreshing. This isn't a Lego sequel that's trying to build out the lore. There wasn't anything that was left out from the first movie, that there wasn't some key detail or moment where it's like, oh, we have to go back and fix that. It's very much, you get another Beetlejuice movie.
Yeah.
For better or worse. And I like that. I like that it didn't need to just be a typical Lego sequel where it's like, oh, well, we have to address this, and this, and this has to happen, otherwise it's useless. And it's like, no, this is just very much Beetlejuice.
Is it weird that I find older Winona Ryder more attractive than younger Winona Ryder?
No, I think she's still an absolute sweetheart. And actually getting to speak with her was, I literally stepped out of that room and I was ready to cry because of how, happy tears, because of how wonderful it was, because of how giving she was with her time. And just, we riffed a little bit on things, and you can see it in the reel that we have up on YouTube. But she was just game for anything. And everybody was. Every one of those rooms, you could tell that these actors loved being in this movie. That this wasn't just, hey, we're doing Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
It's not, hey, we're doing Beetlejuice again. It's, we're doing Beetlejuice again. That's how I would spin the tone, because it's just fun. And you're getting another Beetlejuice. People wanted another Beetlejuice. And they found a clever way to do that without having to crush the original and without having to contradict anything or try to, reinvent the wheel.
No, I love hearing that. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com on the line with me, talking about the new Beetlejuice. Out this weekend. I'm really excited to see it. I don't know if my wife is into it, but this is one that I definitely want to go see.
Oh, my wife didn't get to see it with me, so I'm not only looking forward to taking her on Thursday, I'm trying to take her on Thursday because I want to go in 40X.
Okay.
And when I went and saw Romulus in 40X, they showed a trailer in they showed a 40X trailer for the film. And this already feels like it's going to have some cool movement and just,
okay.
Like I said, Tim Burton treats the afterlife like a fun house and a sideshow. And that's part of this series has always had a carnival ride aesthetic to it. So I'm very, very curious to see how this goes.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend on the line with me right now as we talk about Beetlejuice. That'll be what I'll be going to see. Okay, so are there other movies coming out this weekend? I know we talked about how once you get past Labor Day, it's kind of slim pickings. Beetlejuice is it, pretty much, right?
Yeah, the other movie that's out this weekend is Rebel Ridge on Netflix. But, yeah, we're in sort of a lull right now.
Okay.
And now we just have to wait until November, basically. It looks like October is a little active, but then November is where we really get the big push for awards movies and family and the holiday season. So between now and the end of October, it's going to be really interesting to kind of look at the box office numbers, because from this weekend on, we have Beetlejuice, Speak No Evil, Transformers 1, Wolves, The Substance, The Wild Robot, Never Let Go, Megalopolis, Joker Folie 2, Saturday Night, Smile 2, Terrifier 3. I can't wait for Terrifier 3. Venom: The Last Dance, Here, Conclave, Red 1, Gladiator 2, Moana 2, Wicked Part 1, Night Bitch, which the trailer for that dropped, and that looks like a lot of fun. And Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim, Mufasa, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Oh, and Nosferatu.
All right. You just named off 30 movies, and I can't remember all of them.
That's okay, because it's a lot of movies to take in. I get that.
You go.
That is the nature of the rest of the year.
All right. So we'll get to that as we move along. You know what? Since you brought up the Joker 2, that's coming out here soon, but apparently there's some reviews of that coming out or some reactions.
Yeah. So Joker Folie à Deux is coming out. I think it's premiered at Venice, and it's going to be out beginning of next month. So right now, obviously, it's premiering to sort of get they're getting the hype campaign going.
Okay.
Because, they're going to push this for review awards again, I'm sure. You've already got Lady Gaga's already bringing a lot of attention to it, and Joaquin Phoenix is there again, and everybody's still got memories of how Joker 1 kind of made it big. It looks like there's very mixed reviews. There's not enough here not enough for like a consensus or like a rating on Rotten Tomatoes. But on the positive side, you have people like Robbie Collins from the Daily Telegraph saying, Joker Folie à Deux can't quite match its predecessor for dizzying impact, but it matches for its horrible tinderbox tension. It's a film you feel might burst into flames in any given moment. And then you've got other reviews like Jordan Farley from Total Film. Part courtroom movie, part behind bars romance. Folie à Deux is an unconventional musical sequel that fails to hit high notes, which is really interesting because if I heard correctly, coming out of Venice press conferences, Todd Phillips had said, or Lady Gaga might have said that they're basically not selling this movie as a musical. They're like, it's not really a musical, but it looks like another one of those cases where the term applies
if the shoe
depending
fits.
on if
the clown shoe fits.
If the clown shoe fits, honk it.
Wait a minute. Todd Phillips was in Road Trip?
He directed Road Trip, but was also in it. He's the guy that's there for the
Oh my God.
You need to okay. No, wait. That might have been Old School.
No, he was in Road
Old School.
Okay, Old School was the Road Trip was the
toe guy, I think.
Yeah. He was a foot guy. Oh my God, I didn't realize for some reason. I don't know why I didn't put that together.
You look at his career, and it's like you go from Road Trip, Old School, Hangover to War Dogs, Joker 1 and Joker 2.
Oh my goodness.
And it's like a jump.
Yeah, there's a definitely Due Dates in there as well.
I still haven't seen Due Date, but I forgot about that one.
Starsky and Hutch.
No, definitely forgot about that.
Believe me, it's fine. It is fine.
That's what I've heard.
No, I mean, it is fine. It's fine. You skipped over it. It's fine. Due Date. Okay. I'm trying to remember what happened. I've seen Due Date, but I don't remember much about it other than Zach Galifianakis is one of those guys that his shtick gets old after a while.
Yeah, you need to challenge him because he's one of those type of people that like he can do the regular if you really want to.
I liked him in I like his shtick in like The Hangover, but that's it. I don't need that. I don't need that in every other movie. Interesting. Well, I can't say that I love Joker by any stretch of the imagination. Can I sit through it without vomiting? Yeah, but I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I thought it was great.
I liked moments of Joker, but on the whole, I thought it was not as transformative as others thought it was. I didn't even think it was as dangerous as the media was trying to make it out to be. So, but I'm going to see Folie à Deux basically because I need to see how Lady Gaga fits into this. I want to see what Joaquin Phoenix does next, and I also want to rewatch Joker to see if my feelings have changed at all in the years that have passed. And something I want to ask you about this is, do you think Joker 2 crosses the $1 billion mark?
Ooh,
because my wife seems to think that because of Gaga's fandom alone, that it's going to happen. Whereas I'm sitting here thinking, no, like it's already hard enough for anything Deadpool Wolverine crossed the $1 billion, but that was Deadpool and Wolverine. I think the only two that have done it this year is that and Inside Out.
I think it'll be popular. I don't know. Might get close to it. Yeah, boy, the Gaga thing is kind of the part that you don't know. Because
that's a potential spoiler.
Because then the other part of it is you go back and people want to see if it's a train wreck.
Yeah. But then again, people may be conditioned to think, it'll be on Max soon enough. I can wait. Like, especially after poor Horizon got that treatment really quickly.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go the under on that. I'm going to say no, it's not. It'll be close. Like it'll make a ton of money, but I don't know if it's going to be over that $1 billion mark.
Well, I'm very curious to see how it opens, how it does, but we're living history here, my friend, whether we like it or not.
Moving on down the line, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend on the line with me right now, talking about the world of movies and entertainment. A couple quick sort of reviews. It's stuff that you haven't seen, but we dove into some stuff this weekend. First off, I want to talk Chaos on Netflix.
Oh yeah, limited series, I think, or I don't know if it's
It was 8 episodes.
Thing. Yeah, where Jeff Goldblum is basically God.
He's Zeus.
He's Zeus. A god.
He is Zeus. Cliff Curtis is Poseidon.
A god, but not the god.
Small G. We dove into this the other night over Labor Day weekend. We were just looking for something to watch, and it popped up, on Netflix, and we kind of watched the trailer. I'm like, oh, I got to see what's going on with this. This is, and I want to make sure I'm right on the amount of episodes, because I'm pretty sure it was 8. Yep, it was 8. It is very out there. It is done in it's Greek mythology done in a way that's never been done before.
Except it has.
In this, what do you mean?
Like American Gods. That was the first thing that my mother brought up, and it's like, oh yeah, you're right.
It kinda, but not really. Picture if Zeus was a retired old person from Florida.
Gotcha.
It's done in that way. Okay. Like, I will give you that there are some. I didn't immediately think American Gods. I really didn't. But
yeah, no, I get you.
But it's done in a way that is very, very different. It had a great first 5 episodes, and then you start to figure out, okay, this is just previewing what's going to happen in season 2.
Yeah, no, it's like they're withholding a lot.
Like, you had your little bit of a payoff by the end, but it was more, this is a setup for season 2. And that was kind of disappointing on how it wrapped up. Like, don't get me wrong, it was still good. I enjoyed it. I'm not sorry I watched it by any stretch. But by the end, it was like, okay, I just watched 3 episodes setting up season 2. But Jeff Goldblum's phenomenal in it, and he makes you not like him.
And that's rare.
There are moments of, like Jeff, it's just Jeff Goldblum going around in a robe or whatever. But at moments, it's like, oh, wow, I really don't like you. But it's surprisingly good. If you get a chance, watch it. Oh, Billie Piper's in it, too. I had to look her up. I'm like, I know that person. I'm like,
I love Billie Piper.
It's the Bad Wolf from Doctor Who.
Rose Tyler.
Anyways, if you get a chance, watch it. I think you'll like it. But I did. That's how I felt towards the end of it. It's like, okay, this is just previewing season 2. But I liked it.
Well, I am glad to hear that. I'm definitely going to give that a shot. It looks good. It's just trying to prioritize everything is a pain, and that especially comes with another show that you watched recently that I am very excited to jump into.
Oh, I've only watched 2 episodes of it. Okay, but it's also Netflix. This is like Netflix preview day,
Yeah. It's you know what, Netflix, we're open to money.
I started watching Terminator Zero last night. If you like the Animatrix, you're gonna like this, I think.
Oh, I kind of had that feeling. So the fact that you've confirmed that to me makes me feel even better about watching this.
It's a little bit more, it's not so all over the place as Animatrix, where, it's like different story. Like, this is one big story, but the way they kind of tell it, the visuals they have, the kind of anime style, it's very, very reminiscent of Animatrix. But so far, I like it. It is subtitled. So it's not like you can put it on and kind of keep it in the background and watch.
Well, there is. Yours must automatically kick onto that because there is an American voice cast to that.
No, really? Am I watching the?
Dude, you just have to change your settings. Like Rosario Dawson's in there, Andre Holland, Timothy Oliphant.
Son of a. Really?
Yeah, dude. It's like I love having the option to have both choices. I love having choices.
Don't get me wrong. I've enjoyed it, but man, I last night especially because I was starting to get tired. I was like, man, I wish I could just have this in the background and just watch it, because you can still kind of listen and pay attention to what's going on and just be scrolling Facebook or something. And I am a dumb.
I mean, I couldn't let you go too far with that one. I'm sorry. I had to let you know.
Well, I did look up the cast, and I saw Rosaria there, and I'm like, who is she?
I'm wondering who she is because I'm thinking she might be one of the AIs. Because, I mean, the thing that really gets me excited about this take is it's a Terminator story where it's still 1997. Judgment Day is supposed to hit August 29th. And a programmer is now trying to create an AI that will counter Skynet.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure will not blow up in our faces
No.
at all.
No.
I'm sure this is going to work perfectly.
Yep, you were right. She's the AI.
Yeah, that's that. I just had a feeling.
Wow.
Like, you're not going to cast Rosario Dawson for just anything in one of these movies.
Well, son of a bitch, how about that? So if you, I'm not far enough into it to really give you a great idea if I like it or not yet, but so far so good. It seems fine. So if you get a chance, watch that on Netflix. A couple of the other things as we kind of wrap up this week. Minecraft released a trailer today, a Minecraft
That's
movie,
what
I
they
believe.
call it?
Okay, so truth be told, everybody, when I watched this, I had a good time. I kind of enjoyed it, and I thought, at first, I will be honest with you, I thought it was a joke. I didn't think it was real, but
It looked like a Kimmel sketch.
so I looked it up, like, oh, holy shit, it really is real. But what's funny about it is I told Mike about it. He's like, no, I haven't seen it. You did not enjoy it near as much as I did.
No, I did not. And I am sorry. I apologize to those who really wanted me to enjoy this. It just didn't. This did not do it for me. And that's saying a lot considering you've got Jason Momoa in there, you've got Jack Black in there, and Minecraft, the movie, has been kind of cursed in its own way, kind of like the Crow reboot, or reimagining, where it's just kind of been sitting in a holding another Momoa movie that never got made, his version of the Crow. But there's been so many versions of this over the course of, I think, the past decade. Like, I was writing about the Minecraft movie trying to happen when I was starting at Cinemablend.
Wow.
But now we're basically, Jared Hess, the director of Napoleon Dynamite, has finally made a version where it's Jason Momoa and Jack Black and live action kids mixing in with, a virtual game. And Jack Black is Steve. And we've clearly learned nothing from Borderlands.
Can I give you a thought real quick I just had?
Sure.
I want to see a new Twins movie made with Jason Momoa and Jack Black.
I don't mind
that. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend on the line. What was the other thing? Oh, we still have The English Teacher and X-Men 97.
Oh, yes. Let's go into that X-Men 97 business because I forgot where all of this kind of sat, and now it's just kind of coming back into the forefront. But it looks like ex-showrunner Beau DeMaio, I believe was his name. Beau DeMaio. Yeah, I was saying that off the top of my head.
No, you're
I don't
fine.
have the report in front of me right now. But Beau DeMaio has said that he is going to reveal on his OnlyFans page the whole truth about why Marvel let him go. And you know what? Apologies to the man for the achievements that he has made on this show, but that is very much OnlyFans model talk, and I just don't know. I don't know, man.
It seems like a horrible idea.
It really feels like an OnlyFans model pushing people to go to their content. It's just two steps away from go to my spicy page for stuff you can't see on Instagram, and it's like that's not really going to protect you from Marvel legal because someone's going to find out. They're going to get it.
Listen, if there is something weird there, the whole, I think it may be, just the connotation, the thought of doing something on OnlyFans, because listen, there's, when you say OnlyFans, I mean, there is an image that comes up in your head.
Yeah.
If there's this,
which really kind of needs to be rewritten to begin with, because not everyone does that content. And even if they do, there's like a certain horrible connotation that people like to throw in there. And but then again, that just opens some wider views everybody needs to kind of grow up on. But Yeah, I see where you're coming from, though.
But it's like, if you have this earth-shattering story about why Marvel got rid of you, and it's one of those things that you could kind of prove it, I'm sure you can get the payday somewhere other than OnlyFans.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, after he lost his gig with the show, I'm wondering what may have happened in terms of, like, hireability or anything.
Well, if it was something, and again, this is all speculation as we, talk about this stuff, but if this is something that he feels strongly against or can prove, or they've made him to look bad, why isn't he suing?
Your guess is as good as mine. He may already have certain. Look, this is armchair quarterbacking. This is by no means anything authoritative. This is me just guessing.
Yeah.
He may either have a clause in his agreement with Marvel that is still enforced where it's like, look, you have to go through arbitration or you have to go through XYZ to address any grievances. Or he may have just vetted this with a legal professional and they're like, you don't really have a case. So, of course, where does someone go when they don't have a legal case against their employer? They might try to go to the court of public opinion. But again, this is all just me talking out of my hat here. And this could very well, there could be some other things at work here we don't know about.
No, obviously, but I mean, this reeks of desperation to me.
Yeah, it's not a good look. It really is not a good look. And that is not me passing judgment on anybody. That is not me, again, we don't know the truth behind all of this because we're not in those rooms. We don't see those decisions being made. But that said, just the way that this is playing out from an outsider's perspective, it does not pass the sniff test.
That's really interesting stuff. I don't know what to think about this, and you know what? Maybe maybe we're missing something here, or not seeing the thought process behind this. I don't know.
Oh,
did he say when he's doing this or anything? Or
I didn't see any specific dates. I think it's just kind of happening whenever.
All right. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend on the line with me right now as we talk about the world of movies and entertainment. As we do get towards the end, one of the shows you did start, apparently your wife put it on last night. I can't get you to watch OnlyFans, or not OnlyFans, Only Murders in the Building, but you'll kick on The English Teacher. Is this any good?
Yeah, it's actually it's a slow starter, but it's actually quite good, and I think you would enjoy it, especially because of the gym coach character. Because the whole sort of long and the short of it is there is a teacher in this high school who I'm pulling up this I'm pulling up the information for the show because I don't remember all the characters' names.
High school teacher who finds himself at the intersection of personal, political, and professional aspects of working at a high school. This kind of, and it may be completely different, but this sounds like AP Bio.
It is a little more dramatic than AP Bio, and I miss AP Bio. I wish they never canceled that, because you go and watch AP Bio on Peacock while you can, folks. Those 4 seasons were perfect. But English Teacher follows Evan Marquez, played by Brian Jordan Alvarez, who created the show and stars in the show. He's a gay high school teacher who is just basically going through the rigors of being a damned high school teacher.
Okay.
Like, the pilot has a mother trying to get him fired because he kissed his fellow teacher boyfriend in the middle of a class, and her son saw it, and she was compelled to report it. And it looks like they have the first 2 episodes up for the premiere. And I think the whole shtick of the show is going to be every week it's just another crisis with the faculty, crisis with the parents, and it's how are we going to handle this? And Evan has a best friend, Gwen, played by Stephanie Koenig, a friend that's a gym teacher, Marky, played by Sean Patton, and then the principal is played by Enrico Colantoni, who, if you watch Just Shoot Me, you would remember him from there.
Oh, okay.
You've probably seen him in a whole bunch of things like Galaxy. He was in Galaxy Quest. He was on the show Flashpoint. He's in a lot of really great stuff, and it's good to. I saw someone tweet the other day. It's like, Enrico Colantoni's working right now. We're winning, and I just saw that, and it's like, yes, we are. And he is wonderful in here, playing like the beleaguered principal, where he kind of looks like he kind of looks like a dead ringer for Rob Reiner with like the beard that he has and just sort of the demeanor he's carrying himself, where he's like, this is nonsense, this is bullshit. Like, just do this. We got to get through this. And it is a lot of fun. It feels like it's taking a little while to pick up, but the second episode is definitely the better one, where they go through like the school's powder puff football day, and it leads to Evan hiring a drag queen to teach the football players to be good cheerleaders. And then his best friend, she's teaching the girls that are playing football how to defend themselves. And there are pretty hysterical results.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend joins me every week to talk about the world of movies. The only thing that's disappointing this week is I didn't get a chance to watch Only Murders this week yet. So
yeah. I mean, but if you want a Cara Delevingne fix, she is currently on Futurama's episode this week.
Oh, is she?
Although I don't know if she's still on Only Murders. I know she was on for a season, at least.
God, I got to go back and rewatch that. It's such a good show.
Yeah, I've heard just besides your hyping it, I've heard a lot of wonderful things about it, and it is definitely on the list.
All right, Mike, we'll leave it there for this week. Thank you so much. You have a great weekend, okay?
You too, man.
All right, and we're back. One day later, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend is on the line with me once again, and the reason we're back is because, Mike, a couple really interesting things came out within the last day that we needed to talk about, at least get it out on the tape a little bit. Netflix had a couple really interesting trailers drop today.
Yes. See, you only mentioned the one, but I think we both watched the same mystery trailer that you're mentioning here. But yeah, there were two really good trailers that Netflix happened to drop today for programming that's coming out, I think, within the month.
Yeah.
I think these were both September titles.
Yep. So the two we're talking about, one is the documentary about Mr. McMahon. Which, wow.
Ooh.
The other one,
I think it said from the creators of Tiger King and Bill Simmons from The Ringer.
Yeah. This is going to get real interesting. The other one, and we'll get to it here in a second, and I think it's the one we're both talking about, is Will and Harper, right?
Yes.
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 Okay, so let's start with Vince McMahon real quick. This is a documentary that's been talked about for a while, and it's interesting that, one, Netflix is actually going to get Monday Night Raw. I mean, WWE is going to be a part of Netflix here in 2025.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that because they did win certain broadcast rights that a lot of people are already asking questions like, how are they going to handle things like this, like especially live events, considering how they've kind of handled live comedy events or even just live reality events in the past.
So there's that whole aspect of it. But what's really interesting about this Vince McMahon stuff, of course, over the last year or so, it has been a whirlwind of different things coming out about Vince McMahon, allegedly doing different things. You know, whether it was things that he did that led to him stepping away from the WWE and then coming back and essentially doing a hostile takeover of it, and then selling it to the folks with UFC, and I can't think of what the main company is off the top of my head.
Oh, I don't know that either.
And then more allegations coming out, which led to him being, kind of ousted and stuff. It has been an interesting, probably 18 months for Vince McMahon, I would say. And this documentary, what's interesting about it is they actually have real footage of him and him actually talking in it.
And how much do you want to bet that this is one of those cases where this documentary was in process and then all that stuff started happening and it just became, it naturally became part of it sort of changed the scope a little bit? Because I have a feeling this might have started as just like, a portrait of Vince McMahon. And, you got The Rock in here, you got Hulk Hogan, you've got other people talking about it. And then maybe you get into some of the shadier allegations of it, but, it's kind of it rests at a certain point. And then maybe things took a turn because all the other allegations of, hush money and sexual abuse and trafficking, like all those other reported bits of malfeasance came out, and it just becomes part of the story. Like the story, it's just amazing how some documentaries are at the right place at the right time. And it's like Bourdain I think Bourdain went to Beirut a couple of years ago, and it was during a period of unrest that eventually it turned like supposed to be a normal episode into like a serious travelogue of trying to Anthony Bourdain in Beirut, where he was just trying to that was it, because he was there during the Israel-Lebanon war.
There are a couple other interesting points with this. If you've watched, we've talked about it every once in a while, but there's stuff like Dark Side of the Ring and whatnot, and they have to do reenactments of stuff because they don't have the actual footage of it.
Oh yeah, but with that, you're going in with the expectation that it's like unsavory stuff. I think what they may have originally gone in with this. The intent may have been, let's do a warts and all, good or bad.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon means a lot of different things to this sport and to people. And then it turned even more serious.
Well, the thing about it is, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. WWE has a history of kind of changing the narrative to kind of fit what they want it to be when they go back with some of this stuff. Yeah, I know that's kind of crazy to say, but it's little pieces of history get altered and tweaked and whatnot, and it's a weird world to begin with, but to see this, there's even reports that the filmmakers reached out to that Janelle Grant to try and be a part of this. I'm
assuming that's one of the
that was his girlfriend. Yeah, that was the
oh.
Yeah. The one that all this is kind of based after, at least the latest round of this stuff. But this is going to be really interesting because I think there's going to be what I kind of liked it too. And this, I don't know how well this is going to come off, so don't crush me for this. But there are some comparisons of, you take a guy like Al Capone, and there's really horrendous stories of things he did as a mobster, right?
Yeah.
And then you get the stories about how, stuff he did to try and help some people out.
It's sort of the good and the bad.
I kind of get the feeling where there's going to be some of this in there, where you do have stories out there, Vince McMahon, for better or worse, trying to help his stars out, trying to help people out. But then there's also the other part of, screwing people over or, running people out of business and all this other stuff. It's going to be a complicated story, and I'll be interested to see how they tell it in a 2-hour span.
Oh no, I totally agree. And wait, is it just a movie? Because I'm wondering if it's a docu-series.
Oh, that I don't know. I thought the way it looked, according to the trailer from Netflix, it looked like just a movie, but let me look it up. You keep talking. I'll look it up.
Well, I'd be really interested because that's something else that I've
docu-series.
Okay, because that's something else I've sort of latched onto when it comes to streaming these days. Is like going back to the after Baywatch example. I think I mentioned it when we even talked about it. It's like this could have just been one movie.
Okay.
Like it could have been an almost 3-hour movie with the way that they put things together. And I actually think they should have just made that a documentary about Nicole Eggert and Jeremy Jackson because of the way that story sort of revolved in the last couple episodes. Like that just felt like it was the natural resting place for that story. But regardless, that could have been an almost 3-hour movie versus, Mr. McMahon.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how many episodes they're going to get in. I'm wondering if they're hour-long episodes.
So according to Variety, real quick, it'll be 6 1-hour episodes.
There you go. That is good eating when you get the right documentary, when you get the right docu-series. Like I'm excited for it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not that much read into wrestling. I have a lot of friends that are into it, and I wouldn't mind, yourself included, of course, I wouldn't mind getting into it at some point and sort of trying to pick up on it because there's just such a geek adjacent love for this culture that I kind of feel like if I don't at least try, I would be doing myself a disservice. But I'm just really interested to see, there's a difference between watching the latest documentary on Netflix and thinking, ooh, hot mess. And then there's something like this where it really looks like there's going to be somewhat of a serious examination and to a certain extent, a reckoning with Vince McMahon's legacy.
I mean, it is a complicated story to get into. I mean, going all the way back to his dad, buying the company from his dad, building it, the steroid stuff, early on, and
Yeah.
just, running people out of business and stuff. And there has been controversy around this man for decades.
We're in a time right now where people are facing that stuff more head on, and this feels like another sign of that. And I'm like we have both put down here, it's going to be a very interesting watch.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend on the line with me right now. That trailer is out. The other trailer, we'll dive into this a little bit because I didn't even know this was going to happen. But Will Ferrell going to be a part of a really interesting. It's a movie, right? Or is it a docuseries as well?
No, it's a movie because it has like an MPAA rating, and I think they're doing like a limited theatrical run because they probably want to put it up for like awards consideration, and rightfully so, because Will and Harper is the next film we're about to discuss, and it's about Will Ferrell. I've heard this story before, and I thought I had heard that they were doing a documentary, but Will Ferrell was friends with a writer on Saturday Night Live he was a male writer, and he eventually came out as saying he was transitioning to become a female, and she now goes by the name Harper. And it looks like what happened was the two of them decided to do a documentary road trip to sort of go across America and talk to other people about trans issues, and also go into their own relationship. Like there's one point where Harper is asking Will, she's like, were you ever scared to talk to me about this? And he's like, a little bit, yeah. And she's like, you don't have to be, we're friends. There's no rules when it comes to friendship. Like, I would rather talk to my friends about this openly. And this looks like one of the most heartwarming things ever committed to film. And it reminds me of the depth that Will Ferrell has when people really let him do something different than just being screaming or being an imbecile or being Ron Burgundy. Like there's so much more richness to Will Ferrell. It feels closer to like when he did Stranger Than Fiction, where it's like you're getting Will Ferrell the person winding through some extraordinary circumstances, but it's Will Ferrell the person.
It seemed very real.
Yeah, and I'm just really excited because these are, again, this is a documentary that's exploring stories that people are more comfortable with telling now, and people that are putting more into the limelight. And this is the sort of thing that we do need to see because it's a pretty dangerous time in culture right now where there's a lot of ignorance, a lot of conscious hate, and people need to learn. People need to know, and some people need to know that some people are out there want to learn and want to ask the right questions. And I feel like watching these two friends actually work their way through that very subject themselves is a good way for people to learn to start asking the right questions and to change.
Or not even, back up for just a second, not even the right questions, but just asking questions.
Right. No, you're absolutely right there. And also it does not look like no matter what your documentary is about, there's always the danger that you're going to sound like you're whiffing your own farts. And it's a little too precious when it comes to the subject matter and a little too preachy. This is not preachy at all. Like, this is just friends being friends.
Because you go back to the part you brought up where Harper asked if he was scared to talk to him about it. I feel like that's a conversation that probably happens more often than people think it does between friends that are going through something like this.
Oh yeah, because in any sort of coming out scenario, like even if you're not transitioning, but if you're coming out to someone saying you're gay, you're poly, you're bi, you're ace, like no matter what, coming out to someone, like it's especially scary when you're thinking about someone that you love and respect in your life possibly disowning you or thinking less of you when you tell them the truth about yourself.
So we'll see what happens with this. Will and Harper, looks like it's actually going to be, it was at Sundance earlier this year. It's going to be at the Toronto Film Festival like today.
Yep.
Apparently.
Yeah.
And then
That's kicking off today.
And then I believe, if I recall, it's going to be September 25th.
No, September 27th is Will and Harper.
It's close.
September 25th is Mr. McMahon.
Okay.
And then Will and Harper will have a limited theatrical release at some point this month. I don't think the date's been announced.
Okay. All right.
But
Well,
Netflix is one of those outlets where they will go into theaters maybe 2 weeks beforehand, and they'll play by the total rules, so to speak.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend joins me every week to talk about movies. Do you want to hit the Winona Ryder thing real quick, or should we leave?
Yeah, but we were having so much fun with it earlier, and I would, because after talking with Winona Ryder and her just being an absolute sweetheart, I've been going through all this Beetlejuice material I've been writing for the site, and a feature that someone mentioned to me for potential writing, which I'm currently working through right now, is the whole story about her and Keanu Reeves allegedly getting married on the set of Bram Stoker's Dracula. And on a technicality, that sounds like it's exactly what happened. And just the sweet nature between the two of them that has transpired after that admission was made. It was back in 2018 that she first mentioned it during a junket for their movie Destination Wedding. And then, which now I want to go back and watch because I need to see these two in a rom-com together. And you had mentioned after I brought that up that they would be in practice, on paper, a wonderful couple.
They just seem like they fit together for some reason.
I think it's because of their gentle nature.
Maybe it's the gentle nature, but slightly macabre, would you say?
Yes, gentle, macabre nature, and they're both old souls, because I was reading something about Winona Ryder, I think it was on her Wikipedia, where she talked about how, she didn't really get into drugs when she was young. She said that her drug was hanging out with old Hollywood actors like Roddy McDowall, and then going to, he had dinner parties that he would invite her to in Sidney Poitier was there, and other classic Hollywood stars, and getting to hear their stories. And I wish I had known that beforehand, because that just makes me feel like this woman is my sister or my aunt even more.
What did you call them? America's goth parents?
Some people, I think someone said that they're America's goth parents. And you have to mention the bit that you did after that, because that just sent us reeling.
They'd be totally the people that give away full-size candy bars on Halloween.
Oh yes, they would be the house that you go to on Halloween, where the front has a small maze that you walk through. There's smoke machines. The music is playing. They're the two that you would just see even in everyday life. They feel like they'd be the couple that you just see, and it's those are two beautiful kids there. I want that.
I feel like it's
even just as
in a world where they are married, I feel like it's always autumn.
Yeah, that really does kind of feel accurate, and just they're both just good people. They're also wonderful people to talk to. I remember talking to Keanu for John Wick Chapter 3, and he was another one where I sat there with him, and just for a moment, I kind of was stunned with the way that he addressed. I asked him, do you think there could ever be a happy ending for John Wick where he lives? And then I think he said something very profound about death, and it really did just take me aback in a good way, because it was so deep, and it's wow, I can't believe I just had that moment. And he did the same thing with Stephen Colbert around that same time, I think. And then walking out of Winona Ryder's room, I don't know if I already said this earlier in the show, but I literally almost cried, because it was it was the quickest possible way you could go from meeting your hero to feeling like you could totally be friends with them and start a coffee brand.
They both seem like a warm bowl of soup or a great cup of coffee.
Yeah, like a flannel sweater with crisp leaves, and it could be the middle of summer and you still feel like it's apple picking season. I want to see them in more things together.
I don't know what it is about those two, but man, you put those together and the world is a better place.
Yeah. Yeah, and just especially watching Winona's latest interviews, because I was watching the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast for this feature. And just some people, I see some of the comments in on YouTube where people are like, is she okay? Because she has a slower sort of cadence, but I think she's okay. The thing is, I think Winona Ryder is just so thoughtful with her answers and her her discourse that I wish I had a slot like Josh Horowitz did for his show, because it was like 42 minutes I think he got, or at least 42 or 46 minutes he got out of that interview. And just, I feel like that would be perfect, and it would still fly by in a flash, because she's one of those people that loves to give detailed answers and also likes to play around and react. And that's the sort of rapport that I like going into a room like that. And that's what I got from a lot of people from the Beetlejuice junket. Like, you go and watch the video over on our YouTube channel, and it's just so much fun to like sit in front of these people and admire the fact that this was a movie that everybody wanted to do.
Yeah.
And nobody showed up to the junket thinking, I got to do this. It's like everybody was just in. It's like a family. And when you get that, it's just one of the best feelings in the world.
Now we just need to get Keanu Reeves into Beetlejuice.
Dude, I was actually thinking about that. And I think that not only would he crush it, I think that he would just that would be like a magnificent opportunity to really let him just tear loose and to go back into like Bill and Ted mode. Because that feels like it would be a total Bill and Ted move for him to just be kind of goofy, very energetic, very loose with everything. Or like when he did Duke Kaboom for Toy Story.
Yeah, you know what, though? I just had a thought of, and I think you're going to love it. Keanu Reeves needs to be a Bond villain.
I really wouldn't mind that. I really would love that, because he already sounds like a perfect Shadow. Because him in the Shadow the Hedgehog trailer, it's like you basically made Shadow John Wick. Like Shadow has a John Wick style backstory, and you just basically cast Keanu Reeves, and it's like, now the more I think about it, it's like, yeah, he is perfect casting for that.
Yeah, I like
just
it.
A total ruthless madman who, like, every now and then you see that flash of a grin, and just he's totally off his rocker, but having fun. Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder as a villain couple.
No,
against Henry Cavill.
I don't know if the cast, but they need to do something like Addams Family with Kiana and Winona.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's too easy to say, oh, just do an Addams Family with them. It's like, no. Like, I would love to see them as like, or even just if Tim Burton did another stop motion goth masterpiece, you bring those two in, and there you go.
Another one I just thought of. You know what I'd like to see Keanu Reeves as?
What?
I want to see a Home Alone remake, and he's the scary neighbor that saves the day at the end.
That would absolutely be touching.
And Winona Ryder is the mom of Kevin.
Which would be so weird, considering Catherine O'Hara is her stepmom in Beetlejuice, and Catherine O'Hara.
Oh, shit, I forgot about that. So
that makes it even better. That ties it all together, man. That ties the week together.
Do you know what my first movie with Steph was?
What?
It was actually a Keanu Reeves movie. It was The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Was that any good?
She hated it. Hated it.
Oh, boy.
I liked it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was a slow burn is what it was. It was kind of a thinky science fiction movie.
Yeah.
But she fucking hated that movie.
Somehow she still came around to marrying you.
Yeah, how about that?
How about that apple?
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend on the line with me right now. All right, we'll wrap it up for this week. Thank you so much, Mike. Get back to it, okay?
All right, man. You as well. Have a good one.